crazy water life. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Headlights, I've been with midnight through the city. I've been going through some things, trying to get my mind right. Push the bucket to the lip, push that mission to the finish. Gotta get the full control, gotta get my mind right. Blessing on this hobby, she won't stick beside me, even if I'm blinded.
What's going on, everybody? It's Thursday night. It's football night. How y'all doing, everybody? How's the chat? How's everybody doing?
What's going on, fellas? How y'all feeling? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we loud and clear.
That's what's up. Space. Big game. What's up, baby?
What's good? Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You loud and clear, man.
Hey, what's good, everybody? I appreciate being able to be on with all you guys. I didn't know I was going to be with all you guys. It's a surprise, but hey, it's even better now. So
no doubt,
I'm gonna sit back and hear a lot of things. Hey, good to see everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, a lot of times, man, what I like to try and do is sometimes, like, I knew everybody here knew you were going to be on, but sometimes, you know, I like to surprise and keep everybody.
Great surprise.
Surprise. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about so we had a great discussion with mostly these guys the other night on like how to fix the Cowboys. So tonight we're gonna kind of talk about attacking the Minnesota Vikings. Big game, James. You know, I know you probably had a lot to say, you know, as far as, you know, the Packers game goes and all of that type of stuff. But we didn't really get a little bit of we didn't get feedback from you. But how did you feel about the Packers game, and do you feel like this team is cooked?
I don't feel like this team is cooked. I just feel like it's just the same old thing with me. If you want my honest opinion, I just made a tweet. I feel like it's the same. It's fool's gold. You know, every time it's the time for the Dallas Cowboys to silence critics or shut people up and make people be quiet because I know they hear the noise, you do this. And it's like, we don't want to talk about this. I don't feel like Cowboys fans want to talk about this. Cowboys media don't want to talk about this, but they keep doing it, and it keeps going back into the media because you can't silence the critics. You had a lead. You should have won this game. There's no excuse why you lost it. And it's the same thing. It's not like we haven't seen this in Dallas too. How many years have we seen this? How many years have we seen this same thing happen with the Dallas Cowboys, especially when it's a game that they're supposed to win? It's like, I don't care. This is just my personal opinion. I won't be long with it. But when I seen Green Bay Packers having a 4 or 5 game losing streak and then they're playing us, my first thought is, they're going to beat us. I don't want to say that in my heart. I don't want to say that out loud, but in my heart, I'm like, this is the opportune time for Dallas because Dallas is supposed to come in and Dallas is coming in and this is the time. And it's like, y'all drop the ball again. Every time it's the time for y'all to make people be quiet about the team, y'all drop the ball again. And it goes to saying the same old Cowboys. Then when Cowboys players get frustrated when they say, oh, we're going to do this and that, and you don't believe them, they get mad. But why? Because I've seen too many years when it's time for them to beat these teams, to take the next step, they don't do it. This was another opportunity to do that, and they didn't do it. So why should I believe that it's going to be something different against these other teams, or they get to the playoffs, something miraculously different is going to happen? Well, I'm sorry. Let me see that, because I don't believe it. And if you don't like that, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, that's the Hampton Roads and James coming out, man. You got to prove it to him. You know, he ain't from Missouri. You got to prove it. And he said it better than anybody else could have said, man. He's on point, man, because we have all been in that. That's why you believe we're cooked. That's why we're doing a hot chip challenge for the NFC Championship, because you guys have wanted them to make that step. and he's spot on, man. He said it. He said it all, bro. That's only Big Game James could.
Exactly. Elton, real quickly, man, because we didn't get a chance to, talk about that with you, man. And I know you were supposed to do a show last night. Do you feel like this team is cooked?
No.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. This is my dude. Go ahead. Tell me why we ain't cooked, bro.
Because honestly, everybody overreact to everything. Winning isn't a big deal. Loss is the sky's the falling. I am just not going to fall under that. I don't believe they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I don't think the season's over. I don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl to begin the year. So
yeah. So me and BJ, we were talking, and cook don't mean necessarily not make the playoffs, but do you think this team gets to it, gets a playoff win and gets past the divisional round or even to the divisional round?
It all depends on the matchup.
Interesting. So who would be the matchup that you're not afraid of as far as I guess the playoff teams right now?
Philly, Minnesota.
Oh, I guess we're gonna find out about Minnesota this week, but Philly, that remains to be seen. They're kind of reeling a little bit, but yeah, let's kind of jump into the Minnesota matchup. I'm gonna show a couple clips. I'm actually bringing it up, but really we got to kind of watch out this week for Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson for sure. Once we kind of go through these clips, I'm actually going to, kind of defer to Big Game James on this one, man. How would you play these guys from a defensive standpoint? Dallas's defense versus Minnesota's offense.
Well, when we played them last year, I like the way they had Micah Parsons really at linebacker. They were talking about what they were going to do, him playing more edge. When he played really strictly linebacker in that game, I think he had like a 10-tackle game. He was very explosive in that game. He was attacking that team in that game. But I would say the biggest thing they got to do to me is they got to get Kirk Cousins. They got to put pressure on him. We've seen it time and time again. When he gets knocked off of the ball and you get total pressure on him, he is going to check down. He's not going to try to throw that ball or challenge it deep. He's going to check down, and that's the opportune time. So that pass rush has really got to get after Kirk Cousins. So I'm going to say you really want to attack that front. You see Dalvin Cook, and they got that other backup running back. I can't remember his name.
Madison.
Madison.
Madison. Yep.
And he's a powerful running back. He likes to run that up the middle and up the gut. It's going to be a challenge, fellas. We've seen what the Green Bay Packers did. They said, we're going to run straight up the middle against you guys. We don't care who you have in there. We're going to run straight up the middle. They opened up a drive with 8 straight run plays. So you don't think the Minnesota Vikings are not going to try to do that? So it's really going to be the call to arms from the Cowboys. I think a few people have said it. I think Boss Cowboy said it on the show, and OC said it's the will.
I said that too. Yep.
Right.
Will,
because when you're playing on the front, right, defensive front on the offensive front, it's your will, right? And if you go in there with the mindset that you're not going to run on us and you have the talent, I believe you'll stop them. I believe that. So I really believe it's the will. And Dan Quinn also has to stop getting sexy. We talked about this for weeks because when I was seeing him in 3rd and 4s and 3rd and 3s, he was putting Tristan Hill and Osa Ogadazua in the middle. And I'm like, they're going to run on that. And they were. So you get Tristan Hill out of there, you bring Jonathan Hankins in there, but when it's 3rd and 3, you're still putting small lineups at the 0 and the 1 tech. That just bothers me, in my opinion. I'm sorry, I'm not criticizing Dan Quinn like he's terrible or anything like that, but I feel like you got big boys in the front. You got to use those guys. And if they're putting those Gallimore and you got Jonathan Hankins, Bohanna, those guys have to really start stepping up, and you got to stop getting sexy and doing sexy things, and you guys got to start just crushing that middle and saying you guys aren't going to run against us, because too many teams, that's the problem, in my opinion. I said that was at the beginning of the season, was the run defense. That it was more that it looked good because teams weren't sticking with it. But when teams really stick with the run against the Dallas Cowboys and say, it doesn't matter, we're going to continue to run against y'all, they had success time and time again. So we, in this Minnesota game, you don't think they watched the tape against Green Bay? You feel
Absolutely. Green Bay watched the tape against Washington. They watched the tape against Chicago.
So Minnesota's going to do the same
Bay.
thing. They're going to do the same thing against Dallas. I don't think they're going to get tricky. They're going to run straight up the middle. They're going to run off those tackles with Dalvin Cook, and they'll say, get to those edges, and we'll see what you can do, because we got a running back that's faster with probably Aaron Jones, and we don't think you can stop us, so let's see what you're going to do. You don't think they're going to deviate from that? So the Dallas Cowboys can't get sexy, and it's their will. They got to say, no, you're not going to run against us. LVE, young Damone Clark, Micah Parsons, all those guys got to step up and say, you're not going to run against us.
Yeah, absolutely. Space, man. What are your thoughts?
The one thing that many people look at this matchup, oh, Kirk Cousins, he's 2-0. I hear it all the time. But the one key thing is they have Kevin O'Connell now, one of those younger coaches that come from the McVay tree, which have been notorious to have very damn good offenses. And you can see that a lot of the passing concepts and the way they run the ball is very much reminiscent of that scheme. And I would say that, you would want to try and hope that you could stop this run attack, because that's the one thing that's been different from the previous regime in Minnesota, is that they have stuck to the run when it's been there, and they aren't really trying to get cute with it, right? They're going with what's working. Justin Jefferson, in my opinion, has been the best receiver in football. You can argue it's Tyreek Hill, but I think Jefferson's just been carrying this team from time to time. But Kirk hasn't had to do a whole lot, and you go and watch, like you could see here in the Buffalo game. Keep in mind, Minnesota has won a lot of close games, similar to how New York has, and offensively, they're doing just enough to win these games. So yeah, sure, while the scoreboard might not indicate they're putting up a lot of points, they're moving down the field relatively easily. I would say that if you don't get pressure on Kirk Cousins, it's going to be a long day. And that includes stopping the run. And I know it's easier said than done, but you can see how Minnesota's been running the ball. They've been very good at running on the edge, and that's something that's been killing the Cowboys. And I wouldn't be shocked if you see that employed here and it turns into a shootout, which, not saying you can't win this game, but I think it's interesting how the Vikings are an underdog in this game by a point at home. And I think, Vegas sometimes has something into that, but I don't like that. I think that the Vikings deserve to be a favorite in this game, considering how they've been winning these close games. But as for Dallas, knowing how they are, they might surprise me, and they shut down the offense. But I need Diggs to follow. I need Diggs to follow Jefferson, because if you just stick with him on one side, you're going to have your guys get cooked. So
yeah, like cooked. Elton, man, you up next, bro.
I mean, to me, it's about controlling the edge, because if you really look at it, they don't get gashed up the middle with the run. It is all tosses and actually ISOs on the edge.
Green Bay wasn't running up the middle on us?
Who?
Green Bay didn't run up the middle on Dallas.
Not actually too much. They was tossing left and right.
They were running up the middle.
Dylan, maybe, but Dylan had 59 yards. More.
Right. Aaron Jones had over 100. And they were running up the middle on Dallas. Teams run up the middle on Dallas.
Which games? What games?
Okay.
Yeah, which games?
I'm gonna put those games up. They got on the edge on Chicago, and that running back, what's his name? Let me pull his name up, because he definitely was running up.
No, it wasn't Herbert. It was no.
Montgomery. He was definitely run up. They definitely ran up to me. He had like 15 carries over like 80 yards in that game. Let's look at Detroit, because they definitely ran up the middle with that running back. Who was the running back? He was hurt, but he
Jamal
was
Williams.
Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams.
Yeah, Jamal Williams ran up the middle. Yeah, they really weren't hitting the edges. Tampa Bay was a mixture of both, but I do remember Leonard Fournette coming up the middle quite a few times.
Well,
hold on, let me
Washington was more so the edges.
Washington was more so the edges.
But yeah,
Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, they definitely
Philadelphia ran up the middle on us. Yeah.
They had their last drive when they played against that last drive when we tied it up and they had that 13-play drive.
All that was up the middle.
Right.
All that was up the middle.
They had 11 runs. 11 runs on us. 11.
and all that was pretty option. It actually
It wasn't all option in that game. No, it was not.
I mean, it's kind. You kind of for Jalen Hurts, you kind of have to account for him. We didn't allow him to get outside. A good portion of that was the option, but I don't think he was really looking to take off.
But a lot of but if you actually go back and you look at that Green Bay game, especially in the fourth quarter, a lot of it was they were either in the shotgun running it off to the edge and a mixture of just handoff, just single back. You know what I mean? Like that's what they've been doing. And a lot of it has to deal with how your defensive tackles are. Well, not even just them. It's that the fact your corners aren't willing to tackle, and like they get into that second edge and then or second part of the secondary, and it's just like, where is everybody? It's like no one wants to tackle, and then that's what killed the Cowboys was they got so many chunk plays running the ball that it allowed Green Bay to score as quickly as they did. That's really where your problem is like, I love Diggs, but there's moments where he doesn't want to tackle. I mean, there's moments where a lot of your other corners don't want to tackle, and that's what's killing you. It's just no one wants to stop.
What I'm looking at is they are running through the
it's
up the edge and they cut back up the middle. They aren't pounding the ball up.
No, I get where it seems like it's outside and it seems like it could be inside because it's a lot of it's off tackle. You know what I'm saying? Off tackle. You know what I'm saying? So it can start there and it can bounce out, or you know what I'm saying, they can cut it back, but off tackle has been an issue. And for me, I feel like the linebacker scraping and filling have been an issue. You know what I'm saying? Somebody stop me if you feel like I'm wrong, but I kind of feel like
you're right.
I feel like 55 is the issue.
Yeah.
But hey,
get caught up in the crack.
You know what I'm saying? So 55 can't be an issue this week. Because Dalvin is gonna make him look like he's gonna make us look like Swiss cheese, bro. If we don't figure it out, you know what I'm saying. But I'm with you, James, because here's the thing, though. Because I'm with Elton. I don't feel like we're getting gashed. Where we're struggling at is first contact and allowing yards after contact. Yeah. That's where we're struggling.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they run it like Van Der Esch. I seen Aaron Jones run through his chest and get an extra 3-4 yards. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We're stopping them at 2. We're stopping them at the line of scrimmage, and they're getting, you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 yards and allowing those quarterbacks, the down the distance. That's where we're struggling getting off the field. That San Francisco game was those extra yards. That's where the will comes in, where it's like, I'm not going to allow you to push me back. You know what I'm saying? To make it needs to be 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. Shit, we got to do 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9 on offense. So they need to be able to do that too. Woosah, my bad. Somebody else step in.
No, I think when we even in that Philly game, you remember on that last drive when AJ Brown, I think he caught that slant pass and it was like 3rd and long, and he caught that. It might have been a 2nd down, but it was a 2nd and long. He caught that pass over the middle, and Dallas had that play. He ran through him for an extra almost like 9 yards, and he got them in the close down and distance, and I believe they scored right after that. But his extra effort really put them in the position to be able to do that. And the guys were there. We had like 3 guys there, and he ran through them. And I was like, wow, that disappointed me. That frustrated me. And to Space Cowboy, what he's been saying about Diggs, I mean, I've been saying it all year. I'm not trying to dog him, and it's like I'm not trying to talk about him, but too many times he tries to tackle with his shoulder. The guy's coming right at him, and you can't hit him with your shoulder. You have to wrap up. You have to open your arm, and you have to wrap up. So many times when that running back is coming at him, he'll dive at his shoulder, and he doesn't make the tackle. And if he does make the tackle, that's at least 2 or 3 yards where he's falling forward. That's hurting you, especially if it's a 2nd and 7, right? You didn't make that tackle. And they know, because if you watch those games and they understand what they're doing, they'll attack Trevin Diggs' side. They'll go to that edge and attack his side because they're like, we don't think you're going to tackle him. We've just sent enough guys on this edge, and you get a guy, maybe a fullback, or you get an offensive tackle. He's already backing up. He's already instantly backing up, not trying to even get that work. Not hating, but that's, you see it time and time again. And so it's easy to get those edges. And if a team wants to stay with it, that's what I'm saying. Teams have not stayed with it. When a team wants to stay with the run against Dallas's defense, Dallas defense pays.
It set it off, Chris.
So
okay,
yeah, Because what everybody's saying is, we're kind of singling out Diggs because he's a corner, but it's really been your Sam linebacker, and your and your right defensive end has not been setting the edge. We all know one thing about LVE. When we scouted him five years ago, he never worked great in the trash. He was not a guy who could sift through it.
Excellent.
So that is so he's not a trash guy. But we also, when we got Quinn Bohanna in his draft, in his release, when he came out, he said, "My job is to make linebackers' lives easy." So what Big G Gaines was saying about, hey, we got Hankins, we go in there with Bohanna and kind of solidify that, that heavy set in the middle and get our linebackers clean. I think with playing young Damone Clark more, Barr was a guy who could kind of recognize but couldn't get to it. Clark is a younger guy who can probably get to it. So I think he's going to, as that Sam, he's going to have to be able to do that. But your right defensive end has got to be the guy that turns everything back inside. And that's what we haven't been doing. We didn't do it we did it somewhat against Detroit, very little against Chicago, and against Green Bay. I don't think what both of you guys are saying is that we got ran on because they were persistent about it. They kept doing it. They did not abandon it. And I think after time, what we keep saying about Zeke, we like Zeke because he's a sledgehammer, but they just kept hitting it and kept hitting it and kept hitting it. And after a while, we watch boxing. If a guy gets hit to the body enough, man, his hands are going to drop, and that's going to make him hesitant about wanting to do it. So everything you guys are saying is true. And I think that's being echoed in the building of the Star is commitment to getting the opportunity to pass rush. You earn the right to do that. It is not given to you. It's not just say, out the gate, we're going to do it. You earn the opportunity to pass rush by making it my second and long, third and long to get the opportunity to pass rush. So I think the biggest guys in this game are going to be your Sam linebacker, who's going to come in and get after it. Cleaning up is your will guy, but your right defensive end, whoever's playing there, has got to be a dog this week. Because they're not gonna go after DeMarcus Lawrence. And Christian Darrisaw is hurt. So if Darrisaw is hurt, who is your starting left tackle? That's gonna be paramount for this week. I think that's why that slight edge is given to the Vikings, because Darrisaw is hurt. And I think the whole world sees you can run to the left on the Cowboys.
Well, it's actually some bad news for us because D-Law has been kind of nursing a foot injury. I think this week he hasn't practiced so much. So my question is, should Sam Williams get more snaps?
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yes. In my opinion, I think the split between him and Dorrance should go where it's been more, I think like 70 or 80-20 Armstrong and Sam Williams. I think that thing needs to slide back more to like 50-50 between those two, because I think Sam plays with reckless abandonment. That's how he plays. He doesn't really care. He don't understand all the nuances. He just wants to get after the ball. He's the Bobby Boucher of the defense ends for me. Kind of like Michael was last year as a linebacker. Just see ball, go hit ball.
That's about what we're missing
last year.
That's about what we're missing though in this defense, in my opinion.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of guys. I think it was one of the Bennett's that said you got linebackers that want to eat with knives and forks. Like I need linebackers that want to eat with their hands. Like we need defensive players that want to eat with their hands. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what we need. That's what we're missing at this point. But let's kind of move on, because I do think that Tennessee just scored a touchdown on Green Bay. But I feel like offensively we can kind of help the defense by playing a little bit more complementary football. By complementary football, I mean making the right calls at the right time. So don't jump in all at once, but what are some of the things this offense can do in this game against a Minnesota defense that kind of middle of the pack, lower level? But they get a lot of turnovers. So what kinds of things can this offense do against this team to, solidify a win?
I'm gonna say it like this: they got to go to the double 3 lineup. You have to run and play keep away from their offense. I think you have to dominate time of possession this week. I think you got to use those tight ends to cause disruption in different areas. You got to get it down to the point that it's you run the ball and keep the defense off the field. Not to the point that they're terrible, but because their weakness is the run, you keep the ball. You make it a shorter game.
Well,
I think
ironically,
that's how you
Minnesota's really weak against the pass. Actually, because I actually looked it up and I was surprised. They're really, really weak against the pass. Let me look.
But their defensive ends are amazing. Oh my gosh, both of their defensive ends are like tops in pressures in the league, and where our defensive ends, where Tyler Smith has played okay, Zadarius Smith is going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a huge problem this week for Terrence Steele with Space. What's the opposite guy? You got Zadarius Smith, and you've got, and his name is
it Danielle Hunter?
Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, Danielle Hunter.
Danielle Hunter. And the way Steele played last week, where he struggled, I think coming back and playing against a Danielle Hunter, who was a premier pass rusher, I think you're going to have to negate them like everybody's done against us and run at them. Yes, Patrick Peterson is not the same old Patrick Peterson that he's been in years past, but I think your strength here is to run the football and go in that direction. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, based on watching them play and based on the stats, like they're 30th against the pass, but they get a lot of turnovers. So in turnover differential, me and Space were talking about this before. They're actually top 2, and they have 10 interceptions on the year. So it's like either they're getting home, or they're getting picks, or they're getting picked apart. So it's like that's them in the passing game. But I agree with the running game. Elton, man, jump in, man. What you feel?
Honestly, they actually need to keep it simple because even though Dak kind of balked at it, they actually need to get rid of them option routes because they ain't on the same page. Because if you throw option routes up the middle on this defense, Harrison Smith, those are interceptions. Whoever you want to blame it on, keep it simple. Honestly, keep it simple. You actually can kill them going across the middle, but doing them option routes is going to be a recipe of disaster. And I believe we can run the ball. I don't think we'll rush it at 5 or 6 a clip, but I think it's something if we stay with, it'll work.
Yeah, that's just it. We talked about Green Bay sticking with the sledgehammer, man. We got to stick with the sledgehammer this week, man. Space, jump in.
Look, I think that this is one of those games where you have to get the vibe and go with what's working. Like how it was in Green Bay, that run game was killing them. And honestly, you would have won the game. But again, we all know how that went. I don't want to get more PTSD from thinking about that game because this goddamn team. But I think this is one of those moments where if you have to pass the ball, play action is going to be a big thing because they're going to try and stop the run on you. They're really going to try and make you one-dimensional, which Minnesota has been doing a decent job at doing that. They have had their defensive ends really do a great job at stopping the run, but like you mentioned, statistically, they are 30th in stopping the pass. So really you could pick them apart there. I think where the turnovers come in is because with the volume of teams of them trying to pass to either catch up in a game or stay in a game, they get those mistakes. So I'm hoping the option routes, man, they got to stop because there's a communication error there. We saw it in the Green Bay game. I don't care who you want to blame it on, but still that's a problem nonetheless. Whether someone's running the wrong route or the ball's being released at the wrong time, doesn't matter. Like that's a problem. Keep like Ellen said, keep this shit simple because this is not a game you can afford to lose, right? And I think that you can pick apart Minnesota. I think they should have to employ the strategy like they did versus Detroit because Detroit was trying to sell to stop the run. Yeah. And they would not do play action, which when they did play action, it was doing very well. So I want to see a lot more play action. If the run happens to work, stick to it. But this is probably going to be another game where you see them pass the ball a whole lot, which whether you like it or not, unfortunately, that's probably where it's going to go.
It's not so much the passes for me, it's the type of passes. I just don't think any of the concepts at the times that we call some of the plays make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like 3rd and 4, we got everybody running a vertical concept or something like that. And I that's where I'm at. Where you at, Big Game, man? How you feel?
I mean, really, it's just up to Kellen. What does Kellen really want to do? I mean, it's real easy. You got Tony Pollard. We don't know what's going to happen with Zeke, but you got that young boy Malik Davis.
Man, use Malik Davis, bro.
You got
God,
Malik
dog.
Davis. He was over there turning up. 5 carries, 38 yards. He was looking explosive. He was looking nice, hitting that hole. You got Tony Pollard. That's a good, I ain't hating on Zeke, but that's a good 1-2 combination right there that you could really attack Minnesota. They're giving up over 1,000 yards, rushing 4.5 yards a carry already. So they're middle pack. And you can, like you said, they got good edges, but that middle is soft. So you can really attack them. And when you seen Tony Pollard, a lot of his games in that Packers game, he got a lot of his big games off the left side and up the middle. So you can see that that's where it can be successful against these Vikings. So if something is working, stay with it. And I hear what y'all saying about the route tree, the route options. I feel you. But honestly, he's not going to stop doing that. He's been doing that for how many years? We can just hope and pray that our receivers just – we was talking about this a couple of days ago about you didn't really trip on the option routes when you had Amari Cooper because he knew how to run those routes. And you didn't trip on him because he knew how to cut that route off. He knew how to make that catch. CeeDee Lamb doesn't do that. So we get more frustrated because he doesn't do that. You see Noah Brown kind of be on sync with Dak, and he kind of cuts that route off. So, I mean, it's really up to the receiver. I mean, who do we have out there? You feel me? Yeah. We were talking about you got to get some Keontae Davis some more time out there. Let's throw a long pass with your small guy who's got 4.3 speed out there that can really maybe create some havoc. We just have him on the bench. It's like, who are you really using? Scare the defense a little bit. We don't have anybody that's really scaring the defense with some speed. Keontae Turpin. I'm sorry, Davis. I say Keontae Turpin. Get Keontae Turpin out there and let him get on some deep routes. Have him line up next to CD and have him go deep and CD going underneath. Scare the defense a little bit. Oh, you see him out there? Oh, let's back up a little bit because you don't know what's going to happen. Let's try it. We haven't seen it. He's been sitting on the bench. You just got him in for punt returning. We need to see some explosiveness. And if you got Callaway out there, do something that's going to really make these defense a little more scared. I get it with y'all. I love those tight ends. You feel me? Hendershot, Ferguson, Schultz is turning up really with those young guys. I like how they doing with that. But I feel like what you guys were saying, everybody on the panel, I feel like we really need to run the ball and really stick with it. This needs to be, I always say 30-30 club. Dallas really needs to get like a 35-yard carry game against these Minnesota Vikings, in my opinion, even with Dak.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Okay, I want to kind of piggyback on something that James said about Turpin because there was a point in the game where we threw, I think we had trips on the right side, and we threw a damn screen. We threw a screen to Michael Gallup, and he couldn't make the guy miss. That needs to be Turpin. You know what play I'm talking about?
Yes.
We got 0 yards on it.
Yes. It was that critical. It was that critical drive where we had to punt. It was 28-21. They had just scored. We drove down. We got a first down. After they got the first down, the first plays, DMV, what you just said, they threw a screen pass to Michael Gallup. It got 0 yards. We ran, and then we threw the ball, and then we had to punt. Then they scored. That play you should have never did with Gallup because we already know how he's struggling right now with his legs. So why would you throw a quick screen pass with him with Jair Alexander right on his tail?
And you know the time we threw a quick screen or a quick play to Turpin when the clock was about to run out, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, was it before half or was that the end of
right before half? Right at the end of the half.
It didn't matter. When it didn't matter.
It was like you were just trying to pop something. Right. Yeah, pop something at the end. Yeah, I think it's being consciously aware of what you're doing inside your offense and, setting things up with a purpose. You're right. I think we've kind of gone away from seeing Turpin on the offensive side of the ball, which we all thought at one point in time during the season we would see him more of it. Going into the second half of the season, you're going to need him because we've all seen it. Michael Gallup isn't MG13. He's Michael Gallup, but he's not that MG13, the guy that's just explosive right now. He's a body out there inside the system. So you got to utilize your speed. And your speed guys are your Tony Pollards, your Keontae Turpin, and crazy enough, Malik Davis. Malik Davis has got some pop. And I just think, with the 3 tight end set, I'm even wanting to run 3 running backs in this thing this week to protect my defense that does not has not played well against the run, I got to play keep away.
It's not just keep away, because keep away is kind of coward football. We can score points with this offense.
But see,
I know what you're saying. Yeah, my bad.
I'm just trying to protect. I'm trying to protect them as much as possible, because right now I'm not assured how my right defense ends are going to play. If my split is going to be to the point that I got Dorrance Armstrong on the field more than I have Sam Williams, I have to protect myself from that. And it's not. I'm not saying we're being cowardly about it. I just don't think they're going to play that guy that way. Armstrong got paid. Williams is the rookie, but Williams is a better run defender than Armstrong is right now. And that's the sad part about it.
Space,
He's
you got
bigger.
anything? Oh, my bad.
No, my bad. He's bigger, though. You feel me? Sam Williams, like, you can see the difference. When you look at Dorrance Armstrong Jr. and you look at Sam Williams, you see the difference. And, I mean,
Right.
I love what
Okay.
Dorrance Armstrong Jr. has done. You feel me? We hyped about what he's done,
Yeah.
but we understand what he is. He's not a run defender. If you look at the whole year, he can't set the edge because he doesn't have the weight in that to
The
be
girth,
able to
the
hold.
girth, the size.
He doesn't have that
Right.
weight to be able to hold it. Sam Williams does, and that's what
Yeah.
you like about him. He
Yeah.
can hold that
Right.
edge, and he can allow
Right.
your linebackers to come off him because he's like 265 pounds, and he's a big boy. He's stout, and he can wrestle
Yeah.
with those offensive tackles. So, yeah, I feel you guys, and I feel you that I'm Sam Williams, you love to, especially when you're doing rundowns. Don't get tricky, and that's what we were talking about, getting tricky. If you know they're going to kind of run it, don't put no Dorrance Armstrong Jr. in there on that outside. No, that's when you put the boys in there, the big boys in the middle, Gallimore, somebody set in the middle, and put your Sam Williams on the outside, and then say, let's get at it.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
in oh, my bad. You remember in
No, go ahead.
you remember in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, the second one, Secret of the Ooze, when he unleashed Toka and Razor? It's time to unleash Toka and Razor. Put Sam Williams out there, baby. Dorrance Armstrong really is a depth guy, right? He was a depth guy for us last year that we have in the starting position. And you have him as that piece until Sam Williams is ready. Sam Williams is letting you know, I need
I'm
more
ready.
snaps.
Yeah.
Unleash
snaps.
Toka and Razor.
Okay.
Well, you know how upper management is. He doesn't have the money, so money gets on the field. But I think that this kind of circles back to, I mean, this has been an age-old problem with this Cowboys defense. Is the run defense it's been a mixture of players not being willing to actually do it, and also the personnel. I mean, like I always say, you get cheap, you get cheap players, you're going to get cheap results, basically. And I think that that's really been a problem that I've had over the past couple of years with this regime and not just the coaching staff. I'm talking about, because it's like you look at my main thing is that I understand it's a dead horse to go along with, but it's a problem because you have names out there. I'm not trying to say they should have gone this, that, and a third, because at the end of the day, you don't know. Some of these players that have been out in free agency, they might be duds, right? Especially at this time of the year. But like, I shouldn't have to be having this like, oh, we're going to gamble with the draft picks and hope that they fix the problem. But I'm not going to gamble with free agents, which, by the way, if you even get hit with a bad contracts are easier to deal with. And honestly, that happens in the league, right? So I think that, I'm going to need to see like, what are we talking about? Like, you look at what you did linebacker wise, right? What do you got? Anthony Barr, basically, and you brought back a handful of guys, or not even a handful, defensive end and defensive tackle draft. You know what I mean? Like, there's not a whole lot there. And also to Dan Quinn too, there are moments where he's been irking me with how he's been running it's like, dude, stop making this thing look cute. Just get the whole thing simplified so that we're not doing like all these stunts and crap. Like, because it feels like you're trying to like get the sacks more than actually like trying to stop what the opposing team's trying to do. And that's what's been like irking the hell out of me, especially in the last like 3 games, maybe. But yeah, man, it's just, there's a lot more problems. And I think that it's going to be a discussion every single year until they actually invest resources.
Yeah. Elton, you want to say something?
Honestly, you can fix the defense with what you have on the team. It is just about them doing it. Because with the linebackers, if you especially when Barr's in, him and Dan Vander Esch are taking false steps before they hit the hole, which clears them out to play. Honestly, what I would do with the D line is especially with teams running on this, you put Rankins and Bohanna at the D tackles and put Iggy at the right end. He is gonna hold down the fort, and then hopefully Cox and Clark are your linebackers who will flow to the ball. You actually got personnel who can stop the run, and it's about putting them there.
Well, anybody heard anything about Cox? Because apparently he's
he's hurt now, but I'm just talking about future wise. You actually got personnel on your team to do it, and like I said on Twitter the other day, this is the easiest era to run the football in. Because you don't get tough in camp and practice no more because you aren't allowed to hit. I mean, I would run the ball too. Because team is really good at tackling. San Francisco, maybe. But other than that, who actually tackles good in the league?
Well, shoot, I saw the other night a guy we probably should have tried to trade for. I saw Roquan Smith all over the place tackling. So
The Ravens defense ain't even been a Ravens defense this year. I'm like, don't nobody really tackle good anymore.
No, I get what you're saying though. Like physicality on offensive teams this year has been something that people have been imposing their wills a lot. Like it's really the running backs are back. Saquon is back. Dalvin.
Because don't nobody tackle well in the league.
Justin Fields running for 150 yards a week. You know what I'm saying? Because nobody can tackle.
But Justin's different. So Justin's different. So I understand that. He's different. But what Elton is saying, I kind of like that concept of that. I just think that you don't want those guys out there 35, 40 snaps. So I still think it's like there has to be a step up point like for my three tech. That's I think we haven't solved that yet. I think Osa has regressed. I don't think Neville ever took that next step as a 3 tech. I think the best 3 tech we had this year we got rid of that nobody really liked, and that was Tristan Hill. I think Tristan was playing very steady, consistent 3 tech. I think your 1 techs right now, as you can see, have been lacking. And our defensive end is the issue. Our right defensive end is the issue. But, I think we beat that in for the most part. Because how many tackling corners do you really want to have out here, sacrificing their body, hitting 200-pound running backs over and over and over again? You want them to come up and force, but that edge has just got to be set. And I think CFT he put out a picture of next gen stats, and I don't know if Space probably got that. He probably got that at the ready as always. We've been getting gashed to the left. I mean to the right. All our right, their left. The majority of these last 4 weeks.
You're right, but because I always said you actually should never want your corners to have to make tackles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because at that point.
Right.
You got past the first wave, so if your corner's always making tackles, you were in trouble anyway.
But I will say this, though, because if you think about the great defenses out there of the past, they had some really good tackling corners for the most part. So it's not something you need, but if you have it, it's something great to have. We don't have that, you know what I'm saying? But what they can do, like I forget which one of you guys said it, they could be in the position to where it's like you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You could force the run, you could force the run in, or you could be in the right spot to where it's like, all right, I'm forcing them to a certain spot, and my guys can kind of rally around. I feel like we're stepping back. You know what I'm saying? It's all about will and playing fast. We're not playing fast right now. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're struggling. But I kind of wanted to touch on this point, and then, we'll do our predictions, and then we'll get out of here. But Philadelphia made 2 signings today because, they're a little bit weak in the middle with Suh and Joseph joining the Eagles. So what do you guys think about that?
Okay, I'll go. I mean, Joseph, I don't really care about. So it is a move I actually wanted us to do. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean,
Philly trying to get that ring, dog. They trying, bro. They trying hard as hell, bro.
I mean, if we're being real, I mean, the Robert Quinn trade they've had, he hasn't really been the most productive guy. I think he only has like 48 snaps played, and they gave him a 4th round. But I get it. I could give less of a damn. But like, the fact of the matter is like, we don't know what these guys are going to look like this far into the season. I'm not trying to discredit these signings because, of course, they're trying to actively make their team better. But at the end of the day, I mean, like, they have not looked. They're 8-1 for a reason. I'm not trying to sit here and say they're a bad team. I've gone on record as if they're a really good team. The problem has been is they've had several weaknesses that you saw Washington exploit, and we nearly did it. And some of these other teams have been trying to do it. It's just sometimes they just don't have the personnel, or they're just not there yet as a team. I would say that, I could give a damn less what Philly does at this point, because you know what? We got to take care of our business. Like, they can be adding all these players. We could be just sitting with our hands on our ass and do nothing. But that means nothing if you can't put these things together. Now, will Philly put it together? We'll see. Can we put ourselves together? Maybe. But until then, I know a lot of people are upset, understandably. Like, hey, we're not doing anything. We signed Callaway and Tack. We went to the clearance store again. I don't really, I mean,
you guys want Suh and Odell? I'm gonna give you Callaway and Tack.
We got that shit at home. But again, I would not be super overly zealous, but again, like, it does bring the question of the whole 365 talent acquisition. You're not really doing that, dude. You're just adding guys to your practice squad / active roster, and that's not doing a whole lot. So, I mean, I could care less until we play him again.
Gotcha. Big game, set it off.
Get it, James.
I mean, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not tripping off these signings because, number one, Sue is older. He ain't like no 26, 27. He older. He been out there for a long time, so it ain't like nobody else picked him up. So it wasn't like he was some hot commodity guy. He been sitting out there for how long? Linville Joseph as well. This is what people need to understand. These guys got to come into the locker room half the season. You got to mesh with the locker room. That don't always happen. People think you could just sign people and everything just gets explosive. How many times have we seen teams sign all these free agents and get all these players in free agency and they flop? Okay, so I think I'm going to look at that right now and not worry about Sue and Linville Joseph being signed, because you got to blend with that locker room. It sounds to me y'all just getting kind of desperate.
Yeah,
y'all trying to keep up with these Cowboys. They're still on your mind. You're still thinking about us. Even when we lost to the Packers, you're still worried about that NFC and them Cowboys. They can't say they're not because you instantly made these quick signings just like that off the street. Boom, boom, boom. I feel like that don't always work, and I don't feel like this is going to be something great. I feel like this is going to kind of blow up in their face, and I feel like it's going to be the opposite of what they think. And I don't feel like it's going to be productive how they think, and I think it is going to backfire. And just like what Elton was saying, is just like they kind of need to steady the ship with the guys that they have. The guys that we have need to dig in.
Right.
That's what it really is.
Yeah, that's it.
Another big thing.
We have the talent.
Yeah, and another
front line, and I'm gonna bounce off you again, Elton. You need to start putting Osa. You was talking about that right end, right? You put Osa out there at that right end. You got D-Law out there, right? You put Rosa out there at that right end, and let those other guys cook in that middle. And I guarantee you, I feel like Osa can hold down that right end because that boy is big, strong, and fast and athletic. He is more of a run stopper and can set the edge more than Dorrance Armstrong Jr. and even a Dante Fowler. So I think they really need to look at that and move those, and then you can rotate that side, but start with that, setting the edge, and then you still got the Gallimore, you got the Bohanna, you got the Jonathan Hankins, you got guys in the middle. I think you really need to look at that and stop putting Osa so much in that middle and put him more on that edge, and I think he can be even more effective. You said he regressed a little bit, and I feel you, but I think they keep on putting him in that middle, putting him at that 0. It wears him down. He's not that big. Put him on the outside where he can be fresh and attack that offense. And I think you'll see a little bit more coming off that side. You put Gallimore on that outside. Why the hell did you do that? I've seen Gallimore more than once on that outside edge.
Yeah. And
go ahead, Space.
Well, a big thing that I think what's crazy is, yes, Dallas is still in the mix for the NFC East, and I think that for Philadelphia, I'm really big on playing at good football at the right time. That's where a lot of these teams manage to win in January, February football. So for me, and this is what happened to us last year. We played our best football at the beginning. We slumped, and then we kind of walked, lackadaisical into the playoffs. For me, I would rather you start getting this shit figured out now and going into December, because then you're going to for all we know, listen, Philadelphia, if they start going on a mini slide, which sometimes teams do, I'm not predicting that to happen. I think they'll beat the Colts, but if something starts happening and you beat Minnesota, now the pressure is back on them, because they have to be like, oh shit, we can't afford to get them back into and even the Giants too. The Giants are right there. That's why these next 2 games are so damn big, because if you can win these 2 games, it could go one of 2 ways. You either come out of the 6-5 or 8-3. I don't think you're going to
have to win these games.
You have to
win these games.
You
have to. Ain't no losing these games. You have to win these games.
No, because this is where it's going to determine your playoff positioning. It's either we're going to have a conversation at the end of this week that, okay, Dallas is now, we're kind of, I don't know if we'll make it, versus, okay, this team is right behind Philly. That's going to be the conversation we have. I don't think there's going to be a split happen this week, guys. I think because this is an interesting tidbit. Since 2016, whatever has happened on the Sunday before Thanksgiving has been the result on Thanksgiving. So if they have won the game on Sunday, they'll win the game on Thanksgiving, and vice versa. So I don't think you're going to see this team come out of this stretch 7-4. I think they're coming out 6-5 or 8-3. That's why they need to win Sunday.
Yeah, I honestly think I think it's must win to win these next 2. In my opinion, I think because they're not only is the Giants a NFC East matchup, but they're both NFC matchups, and we've lost
all 3 games. Has been the
NFC. All 3 of them. All 3 of them NFC games. This 3 games in 12-day stretch is absolutely huge, and it kind of sets the tone. So like Elton said, man, about the Sue and the Linval Joseph thing. Yeah, it is what it is. But you hit the nail on the head, James. Guys coming in this late in the season, having not been in football shape, not being in the locker room, not playing and being in that environment. It takes them time to ramp up. I mean, shoot, we got Peters early, and it took him almost a month to get ready to go do what he needed to do. And this is the time where you have to be playing, getting close to your best football. So, I mean, when I saw it, I was an emotional Cowboy fan. Oh, shoot, man, we ain't doing nothing. But then I said, well, I mean, I got the pieces. Those guys have been, fighting and scratching and clawing together. They've been in the trenches together. So I think to a man, and just some simple adjustments, you're right. I think we can get this thing to come together. So whatever they do, they do. That means that the Jordan Davis injury may be a little bit more significant than they're letting out and letting be known, because going and getting both of those guys, not one of them, but both of them, tells you they got a problem with their run defense.
Absolutely, and they had a problem with their run defense anyway. You know what I'm saying? That was the way you would attack them.
Yeah.
That was the way you had to attack them. Yeah, because your secondary is really good. They have 2 corners right now playing out of this world, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is playing pretty good at the safety spot. So the way teams were attacking them was running the football.
That's true.
You actually want to know what's funny to me? I actually would rather be the 6th or the 7th seed than the 5th, because the 5th seed is probably going to get San Francisco or Tampa. I'm more comfortable playing Minnesota, Philly. Whoever gets it first.
Man, I just want to get in, bro. And I want to win some games. Not just one, but I want to win some games.
All that matters, guys, is that you play good football at the right time. San Francisco did it last year, and look what they did. I personally think matchups are I think Elton said it. Matchups are a huge thing in the playoffs, and I understand me personally, I would love to go on the road to face Tom Brady and kick the shit out of him. To me, I think that's really going to be your hardest matchup, because you look at the way this NFC is structured.
Yeah.
It's wide open, guys. Like, it is wide open. It's just a matter, can you take care of your damn business, right? So I think that I am more of a proponent of going on the road. I'm not a fan of the Cowboys hosting playoff games at this point because I don't think they have a real home field advantage. Really, their home field advantage is going on the road. So for me, if they have a home game, if they go on the road versus San Francisco, they'll have a lot of Cowboys fans out there in California. They'll travel there. So I think that that's really the advantage there. I think if they can get past that first game, it's just, well, not even that. They just got to prove to me that they're playing good football. That's why I'm not a big fan of the regular season and why I kind of got numb to it. They need to prove to me that they can play good football at the right time.
That's a good point. And Big Game James, I kind of wanted to ask you something. We talked about this a while ago. We talked about this before the season. We talked about alpha energy. You knew what I was going to ask about. You knew what I was going to ask.
Come
Where's
on,
all that
big
alpha?
guy. Come on.
Where's all that alpha energy they was talking about, big dog?
As soon as you started talking, dog, I was like, I already know. I already knew where you was going. I already knew. I mean, come on, man. Y'all know the front office. They don't want that. I mean, just my opinion. They don't want that from the outside. I feel like they are so stuck. They're proud of being homegrown and proud of bringing their own. And I feel like when they got that outside strong energy that's coming from the outside, they don't want that. I just feel like they don't want that problems. They feel like it's going to be problems. It's going to be drama, and they don't want to deal with it. So they stay away from it. Because, hey, like we were talking about, if Odell comes here, he going to want that damn ball, dog. And you know what I'm saying? He don't get that ball, he going to say something. But guess what? If he's open, he got every right. Like, I ain't mad at him. He's a playmaker. He going to want the ball. Like, if we bring in guys that are like Ben dogs, they're going to act like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why you like them, because they're going to come in with that energy like, I'm a dog. Let me show you how we do this. You feel me? The whole team starts vibing off of it. Your team starts picking up off that energy, and that's when you start going hard. And it's like they don't want that type of energy, because you seen when the coaches have done it, Chris Richard, when they seen players do it, I don't want to keep naming them, but we seen Dez, we seen T.O., we seen guys that have that energy, they get it out of there. You feel me? And they get it out there quickly, and they don't want to hear it. And so they say it, but I don't think they really want it, because you have the opportunity to still get it. I don't know. We'll see what's the problem of still getting an Odell Beckham Jr. He's going to make your team better. I mean, he is. I don't give a hell what anybody tells me. Yes, he is. You add somebody like that to your team, and I know we're saying, adding the additions like we were talking about the Sue, but I feel Odell Beckham different. He's different because I feel like he is a good dude. Like he's not malicious. Like he really wants to win. He really works hard. He really plays hard. You get what I'm saying? So he really would elevate your team and help take it to a next level. I mean, we saw CD turn up, but dog, I'm sorry. I like to add a guy like him and really say, okay, we okay, you added that, but we really trying to come in here and say we adding this and let's go get it. Let's go get it. Let's attack these dudes. Hey, DMV, that's alpha energy. Let's really bring it. Let's really go hard. Let's go. And you know what? We're going to sit out the way and let it happen. But that's, to me, a facade, and it's just a dream.
Hey, I want to ask you about this energy you were talking about, because that was always the biggest thing that we had with Amari. I think Amari had his energy was to the point he wasn't a rah-rah guy. He was a go-do-it guy. I think what you're saying with Odell with that energy, and he's going to be a guy that walks into the room automatically. His swagger, his energy is going to push the room a certain way. And if he's able to go out and work and do his thing, I think that elevates, the tide raises all boats. I think that's what he does. I think his coming to the room, having that persona, having that swag, I think that will push everybody up. So yeah, they don't like no guys that gets in people's face. They have not liked that at all. They run those people out the building. You're absolutely right, James. I hadn't even thought about that for a long time. But hey man, let's get these predictions, bro. Let's get these predictions, bro.
Yeah. So
Mark is in the chat saying he don't think we're gonna win. So I want to know what you guys think, man.
Well, I'm gonna start with you. Set it off. What's your prediction, man? What you got?
I got the Cowboys doing cowboy things, man. When the back's against the wall, when it's darkest, man, they step up, bro, and show you like, yo, they make you hate your life. This is the week we're not supposed to win. We just got ran on, a heartbreaking loss. The Cowboys come out, man, go to Minnesota, play an outstanding game. 35-21 Cowboys. Turpin gets a touchdown. Justin Jefferson goes off, but man, we run the rock, and that defense comes back. Breakout game for Michael Parsons, solidifies his defensive player of the year. Cowboys 35, Vikings 21.
What you got, Elk?
See, because we score points with QB1. See, that's what I'm saying. This ain't gonna be no low score type thing. We score points with QB1, and so that's why I'm scoring points. My defense steps up. They make a statement. 35-21. Cavante Turpin gets a run back, man. That's what I've been waiting on all year.
I am really split because I have been thinking, all right, we are to win this game. People expect us to lose. Then I am on there was another part of me saying our backup to beat Kirk Cousins the last 2 years. It would be like them to lose this year with Dak. So I'm gonna go with we're gonna win 27-24.
What you got, big game?
I'm gonna kind of bounce off Elton on this one. I feel funny about this. Like, I feel funny about this game. Like, we've been having Minnesota's number, but I'm gonna keep it real. That I think that Green Bay loss kind of messed with the Cowboys' brain. I really do, and I need to see if they're gonna be able to pick it right back up after this week of losing like that. And I feel like they might struggle a little bit. I don't know if they're gonna come out there explosive. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. Like, I don't know what team is gonna come out. I don't know what team I'm gonna see Sunday. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know what team I'm going to see Sunday. I'm hoping I see an explosive team, but I don't know because I feel like that Green Bay loss is going to be a cloud over them. So I feel like in my heart, just like Elton, it's going to be a close-ass game. I feel like it's going to be a 24-21 game. Cowboys, maybe Maher at the end.
You stole my score. That was
sorry.
my score.
I'm my bad. I didn't mean to. That's just what I feel.
Hey.
It's going to be close, dog. It's going to be close.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm identical to you, so I'm not even gonna go. That's exactly how I see it, bro. Identical. At the end, we've had to beat them at the end the last couple games. And I know it's a different coach, but I still think the result will be the same: 24-21, exact score. Maher at the end.
I think that if you're going off, say Minnesota 49, Cowboys 50. I'm just joking. No, listen. I've watched this team for so. This
for
team.
49.
For real, right?
Listen, Dallas has this weird thing where when they have this "what the fuck are you doing" loss, they come out the next week and they win. I can't explain it.
Go give it space. I'm telling you, that's it.
It just. I can't explain it. Like, I've covered this team. Look, every
The
single
Bengals.
day.
The Bengals. Yep.
The Bengals were the what the hell? Like, how do So my thing is that because I kind of got a sense of how the Packers game was going to go. I actually had 29-22 with that game, and it was close. Because if that freaking defense pissed me off because I was like, damn it, they should have held it. But I think what's going to happen is you're going to see a lot of yards, but not as many points type of game that you would see on the on the scoreboard or stat sheet. I'm gonna say 34-30 Dallas wins. I think this is going to come down to the final drive. If you go off of the history of these two teams, it always comes to that last drive. I think as much as it's going to pay me, I think they're going to pass the ball a whole lot more than people think. And I think that's where things are going to get all jumbled up. But I think Dallas wins this game and sets themselves up nicely for Thanksgiving. If they don't, God damn it. This team, I swear to God, listen, they better not lose like they lost last week. But again, the fact that they were 195-1 now, and it's just such the unique way they lost, I just have a hard time thinking they're going to drop another game. Like James said, and I agree, whenever they have these games that happen, sometimes the thoughts creep in like, I don't know, guys. And that's why this game's so important. I feel like if you lose this game, you're going to start going into a slump when you really can't because, Space Cowboy, we're 6-3 at the moment, even if we'll be 6-5. That doesn't matter, man. You have Green Bay, you have Washington creeping up. Like, we can't be doing this type of shit. Take care of goddamn business. Simple as that. Show the world that, hey, you know what? Our team's still here. We're still kicking it.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that Minnesota has a dome.
Yeah, indoor, not outside. Ain't gonna have to worry about the hand with rain. James said it best, man. You turn around, they have done the same thing to us all the time. The times when we want them to make a statement and go and blow somebody out, they don't. And then the game you're saying like, hey, we're not sure, we don't know, we don't know. They go out there and give you the performance, and you're sitting there pissed off more.
Yo, it's gonna piss us off so much if that happens. Man.
It's gonna piss you off even more. It's gonna piss you off even more.
I don't feel it feels weird about this game. I don't know why. I don't want to feel this weird feeling. But
probably because Romo calling it.
All right, guys. We got another L on deck on Fort now. Listen to this. Listen, I love Tony and what he did here, but god damn it, listen, man. Sometimes he just needs to shut the hell up. Like, oh my god, man.
Tony is too giddy when it's not going right. Tony just has a little extra perkiness in his voice when it's not going right.
He's like Birdman behind the tree. He's like rubbing his hands. He's like, yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Man,
absolutely.
I just wish Kansas City was playing this week so he can go do that damn game.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
I'm like, when the hell did this game go to CBS?
Right. That's a Fox game all day. That's a Fox game all day.
I'm like, when the hell did this game go to CBS?
Nah, man.
Yeah, they're trying to jinx us. They're trying to jinx us. They're trying to do everything in their power to get that L for us.
I'm trying to think how many times have we had Tony comment on the games this year? Was it just the Bengals game?
Twice.
Or what was the other time? What was the other time?
Game.
So we're 2-0. Now that I said that, guys, I'm sorry.
Don't jinx it.
All right, guys, I'm sorry. Listen, guys, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. You know what? If we're 6-5, you could put me on a stake and crucify me at AT&T. No, it's just. Listen, my heart tells me I'm still not sold on this team. I don't think they're gonna do anything. I'd rather it be. But god damn it, I swear to God, that happened so many times. That Rams game in 2019 and 2020, some of those games. Well, not really. We didn't give a shit. 2021, I want to say the what the hell game. I guess it was the Patriots. No, it wasn't the Patriots. I don't know.
The Broncos was the what the hell game.
Well, yeah, but we didn't have one of those games where it's like, there you go. But
I guess the Chargers.
All I'm going to say is whatever happens this week, I expect Thanksgiving to be that exact same result. That's all I'm saying.
Gotcha. And as I close out and I'm watching, as I'm closing out, I'm watching Tennessee and their linebackers fail on the tosses, and it's pissing me off right now because we don't have that.
Hey man, the conundrum is, man, we love this team so much, man. You guys took time, took an hour out of y'all life on a Thursday night, man, to kick it and talk about this. And deep in your heart, what you want them to do, man. Yeah, you want them to go out and do everything you want. But this is a week-to-week league, man. So let's just continue to enjoy the ride, man. Hey, man, you got to thank everybody that's in the chat, too, there, man, that's coming through. And they and showed us some love, man. But this thing is a week-to-week league. So they turn around and play great this week and win. Space has already put it out there. We should go ahead and play well against the Giants. And now I'm telling you, win these next two games, and we back on the surfboard. We riding the wave, James. We riding it, Elton. We out there done it. We out there riding it. So I just want to get back on the surfboard and win it, man. Let's go ahead and have a great game this weekend, man. That's what all I'm for, man. Cowboys win. Oh, Cowboys win. That's where I'm at, baby.
All right, guys, let's close it out. Hey, plug your channels, man. Where can the people find you? And if you guys, have any shows upcoming, let the people know.
I guess I'll go first. You guys can follow me at Space Cowboy Media on YouTube. Do your due diligence, like I say. Like and subscribe not only to this live stream, but to all these fellas. They do fantastic work, and they always give it real. So look, if you want to go ahead and do that, that's fine by me. I just sometimes people don't like how I come out there and they're like, "Oh, Space, you just hating because I think the Cowboys will probably not do anything this postseason." But guess what? I really don't give a shit. But that's just the end of that, guys.
All right, set it off, Chris.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, you can find me, man. I'm gonna set it off, Chris, on Twitter, man. I am the sidekick. I'm the Robin for Frankly Football with me and Brandon, man. You can find us, man, at Frankly Football. We small group of guys, man. I think we, kind of well traveled inside the YouTube community. I know a lot of you guys, but I follow a lot of you guys and comment with y'all, man. I always appreciate having the opportunity. But come check us out, man. Just two guys passionate about football, man. Love what we do and just love interacting with the Cowboy community, man. That's us.
Definitely, my guys. And Elton, man, where can the people find you?
I mean, it is exactly how the name say, Elton Costin. Is no cut card. There's no cut card.
Yeah, he's just chopping people up on Twitter.
That's what Elton do. Elton get in. I follow Elton, man. I like him, man.
Hey, look, it's Elton all day.
Yeah,
the little shank.
You walk away bloody messing with Elton, man. Elton like, oh, okay, Elton. I just laugh. Somebody just put the emojis and laugh, put the eyes on it. I was like, oh, Elton out here shanking people again. Out here.
And Big Game James, my guy, special guest today.
Dude.
Appreciate everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be on today. I appreciate listening to everybody's comments and what they said. I appreciate listening to everybody, what they got to say about the Cowboys. But you can check me out on Big Game James. We do Cowboys football, also do Dallas Mavericks. If you like basketball, we do basketball over there. And also we doing high school football with the young athletes. A lot of them just got done finishing their seasons. There's quite a few of them played in championship games. Quite a few of them signed big time scholarships this year. So we're going to start our second round of interviews and kind of check out their journey. So please definitely support those young men that I'll be out there interviewing this next round. Got some real dogs that you really check out in the college football scene, because these guys will be on the college football scene, and there maybe be some pro prospects from these guys I'll be interviewing. So that's really kind of exciting to see. And please just go support these young men. They need all we can get, especially the youth out there. So just go support that. And I appreciate all y'all once again for letting me be on the panel today.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, shoot. I got a guy for you coming up, so I'm gonna try and set that up for you. But I got
yeah.
Out here, yeah, I got you. Yeah, and set it up, Chris. Y'all got to set something up too, man.
Yes, sir.
Like to see that.
Yeah, man. It'll come down the road, man. We're coming down the road. James.
Y'all still got a playoff run.
James is my guy. Yeah, we still in the playoffs, man. James got a little connection.
Take your time, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? I know you're gonna hit me like, hey, we just turned up, we just did this. It's time. All right, I'm ready.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right. Yeah. So, hey, appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you, everybody who stopped by, man. We out. All right. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.